Welcome back to Great Day, Washington. Are you unhappy with your current job? Well, don't just quit, do something about it. I spoke to Darcy Eikenberg, writer of this book, Red Cape Rescue, with tips to resurrect your career while you're still at work. Darcy, I'm so excited to have you here as we start to navigate what the future is looking like. The last few years, we've seen people kind of reevaluate their life, right? Figure out what makes them happy. And we're seeing this trend that is dubbed the Great Resignation. You say people should avoid this trend. Why is that?
Yeah, Kristen, I get frustrated when we start to think that, well, gee, just because I want to think bigger about my career, just because I want to think about what's next, that means that I should leave my job altogether, because that's not the right move for everybody. But people think that if when something's not right at work, that the only way to have change is to totally change their job, or the other alternative is to suck it up and stay where they are and just deal with it, and that's no fun either. So one of the things that I teach in my work is that there are a lot of things we can control in between to help make our jobs work better for us, just as we are right where we are.
We're learning more and more about what our value is, knowing our value, getting and asking for what we want to make our profession, our job more enjoyable. How can somebody go in, ask for what they want, ask for that change without shooting themselves in the foot maybe, or without that confidence that they're going to get it?
I think you hit on something that's so important, is that first we have to know what we value. Very often when we're having some kind of internal conflict or even an external conflict with a colleague or another leader, that we haven't recognized that what's probably happening is that our values are not in sync with theirs. It's kind of like hitting two keys on a piano next to each other. Independently, both are beautiful, but next to each other, it's just noise. So understanding what is it that you value and what are the values that you're trying to create in your life, help you have a foundation for getting specific about what to ask for that you need. Because often what I find is that people have unsatisfying conversations with their bosses or others because they go in and they just say, well, fix it. They're very vague. Instead of saying, here's the specific ask. I would like you to talk to me in this way and not that way. Or I would ask you to, that we sit down and we look at my workload. So getting very specific about the ask is super important. And the thing is, even if you don't get what you want, at least that's good data. You've taken a step to at least put your needs out there.
Yeah, you've asked for it. If you're not going to get it, then you know what type of situation you're in. What else do you say to people, though, that are like, they want to leave, but how do they really know it's the right time?
Right. So when someone says, I want to leave, I always dig a little deeper. What is it, if you had a magic wand, what's the thing that you would change to make what's happening for you right now work better for your life? And often it's not everything. It's usually just one or two things. It might be your workload. In that case, there are strategies to what I call drop some balls, to actually re-look at your workload and recognize what are the things you're choosing to do, the things you think that you should do that really maybe nobody cares about. There are so many different ways we can reconfigure our own work. We think that people are making us do things, but ultimately we end up always having a choice. We may not always like the consequence, but we have a choice to be able to reconfigure our work in ways that work for us.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, taking on too much or things that aren't really serving you. Your book, Red Cape Rescue, Save Your Career Without Leaving Your Job. What led you to write this book, and what are we going to learn from it?
Well, this book came out of a couple things. It really started way before the pandemic, where I was seeing this trend of smart, amazing professionals who felt like the only thing that they could do when they had a speed bump at work was to go find another job. But what's the old saying, wherever you go, there you are? You know, the same issues and problems and challenges that they had where they were kept following them. So I started to track these simple, practical actions that you can control to rescue your own career, to be your own hero. And then last year during the pandemic, my readers were at a loss, and I just asked them, I said, what do you need from me? And they said,
Right.
we need encouragement, we need to know how we can take back control. And so I decided it was time to put these things into a book that had action and specific stories and guides and scripts that you could use to take back control in your life at work.
Some great things to think about, Darcy. So much good information. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you so much.
Check out Darcy's book, The Red Cape Rescue. It's full of tips to help make your career more enjoyable and help you know what your value is.